Here we go.
We got to go in the air.
And good afternoon. Welcome to the Big T today here at Timonium, the Maryland State Fair. Final day of live horse racing here for the Maryland State Fair. Only state fair this side of the Mississippi to still feature live horse racing. We have a doozy of a card for you today. Todd Pletcher is showing up today with a nice allowance runner. But real quick, let's recap yesterday. I wasn't here, but I saw the Hall of Famer Brooks Robinson was here. And just talking to Bill Reitler, sounds like you guys had a big crowd, nice weather yesterday. And
Yeah,
the usual suspects, Farrier won another race yesterday.
The weather was perfect. Lots of families, new people getting into racing here at Timonium, and some new fans, of course. Every year we create some new fans. They come to the Maryland State Fair, check out the Big T, and a lot of people have always gotten their feet wet, so to speak, on horse racing here at Timonium. The tradition continues. Yeah, big win for Anthony Farrier yesterday. Lonely Drifter won, and that's, I think, the 12th win of the year for Lonely Drifter. He's one of the winningest horses in the country.
Wow, that's a lot.
And that was a good race, a really excellent race that we had there between Lonely Drifter and the runner-up #Selfie, who's very keen for Kieran McGee still. I like to see those two match up one more time in the near future.
All right, so Anthony Farrier, he's your leading trainer going into the final day. He has 6 wins, but Hugh McMahon hot on his heels. Hugh McMahon with 5 wins. You have the trainer and the jockey standings there in front of you.
Yeah, Arnaldo Bocachica, Ashley Castrenzi tied at 5 apiece, but look at the X-Man, Kevin Gomez, Katie Davis, Al Cortez, each with 4. So separating the first 6 jockeys just to win a piece there. Arnaldo Bocachica all the way down to the runner-ups in a 4-way tie for second. And some lots of action today on the jockey trainer standings coming to the final day.
All right, so yeah, it's tight, tight for the jockeys and the trainers, and they all have a bunch of live runners today. So let's get right to it here. We're live up here in front of Nick's Fish House. They used to be down at the Cross Street Market in Federal Hill. Now they're right here at Timonium. They're shucking raw oysters out here. They have crab cake, shrimp salad, best seafood in town right up here at Nick's. Where we're doing the show. So let's get going. Race 1's going to kick off the popular early pick 5. It's a mandatory payout on the early pick 5. Mandatory payout on everything today, being that it's closing day. Both pick 5s here at the Big T feature that industry low 12% takeout. I have a ticket for the early pick 5. Let's take a look real quick. I go 4 deep in the opener with the 1, 2, and the 5 and the 6. Maybe I can get a sneaky little price here. Maybe I'll get a 5-to-1 shot home here in the opener. That'd be nice. And then race 2, I go with the 2, 7 in there. Race 3, I have the 1, 2. Race 4 is one of our features of the day. Nice maiden special weight for 2-year-olds going a half-mile. In race 4, I go 2 deep in there. John Salzman Jr. as a first-time starter in there. The 1A, Pardon the Pun by Flatter. That's a Major League $40,000 sire. But the favorite in there is going to be the 6, Dreaming of Love, even money for Jerry Robb, one of your top barns here at the meet. And you get one of the top riders, Xavier Perez. So I go 1, 6. That'll be, and don't get confused here in race 4. Scratch the plain 1, Cold Sweat. But the 1A does run. So I'm 1A 6. Guys, if there any way we can just add an A there in race 4, that'll be 1A 6. That's my fault there. So then race 5, I go all Claudio. In race 5, I have the 5 and the 6, both Claudio Gonzalez runners. So there's my ticket, $32 ticket for the early pick 5.
And I've got a late pick 5 ticket, Stan, for races 5 through the finale later today. We'll get to that as we handicap the action.
Okay, and Frank Vespi, we have his ticket, I think, right? He's my co-host in the afternoon. Okay, there's Frank's early pick 5 ticket. He goes 3 deep in races 1, 2. Let's check out the single he has in race 3. He singles on the 2, Higher Purpose. Trainer Jose Corrales and Ty Labusino, they hooked up for a win yesterday, right?
Yeah, in the opener, off the pace.
All right, so Higher Purpose, one of the favorites in race 3, the 2 horse. That's Frank's single on the early pick 5. So let's take a look at race 1. We're going 6.5 furlongs, claiming 5,000, 3 and up, a wide open nickel here to kick things off. I go with the 1 on top, Arriva Dirci, with Julio Correa aboard. Correa, your leading rider this summer at Laurel. He has 3 wins here at the Big T, and trainer Hugh McMahon, one of your leading trainers, 5 for 12 here at the Big T. The McMahon barn is rolling, and Arrivederci, a good second last out against Beaten Nickel Company. Now you get 5 pounds off with Correa, a top rider. I think this horse will get a nice ground-saving trip on the inside. We're cutting back from a mile to 6.5. He can go to the front, or he can sit a nice stalking trip. McMahon route to sprints 23%. So I go with the 1, Arrivederci on top here, race 1.
Yeah, given his inside post, the fact Magician's Calendar was claimed into Maldonado Barn has shown some speed in the past. I think they'll maybe try to send Arrivederci today. I went to a horse who did show speed last time out, had an inside run there August 24th. Last weekend at Timonium, looking for back-to-back wins. We've already had a horse win last weekend, this weekend, and Tatr's Gold. Field Advantage. I know he was inside last time out, but he's a little bit more tractable. I believe Ashley Castrenzi is going to spy that speed early, see what they're doing, make a decision early in the race. So I went back to Field Advantage for back-to-back weekends here at Timonium.
Well, Castrenzi and Ferry, they're teamed up for a win yesterday. They're 71% here at the meet, and from a bigger sampling, they're a solid 33% and a positive ROI. And you're right, she'll get a dream trip on the outside. So
yeah,
the sixth Field Advantage, the horse to beat here.
For a little nickel race, this is pretty competitive, especially what's going to happen with the pace in this 5-horse field.
We have the 2 Magicians Calendar. First off the claim for Maldonado. He'll have something to say about the pace. If you like Field Advantage, you have to give the 2 Magicians Calendar some respect. He was a good second last week into Field Advantage.
Yeah, this horse has run some on and off races and claimed into Maldonado's barn. They're thinking to hit the on switch again today. First off the claim, Field Advantage beat him last time out. He's shown some early speed, but in the past I've seen him come from a little bit off the pace in his way back form as well.
All right, you have Papacho first off the claim for Ferrier. You have the leading rider, Boca Chica, aboard. Boca Chica and Ferrier, their stats are through the roof everywhere. And this horse was wide last out, beaten favored for an open 4,000. Not much of a step up here to the open nickel. Just maybe you get a little better trip with the leading rider, and that puts Papacho right there at a decent 5-to-1 price.
He's going to be relying on the trip stand, and if Arrivederci and Magician's Calendar and Field Advantage decide to go in a 3-way battle, that's going to leave somebody coming from off of it, and Papacho will be probably the best of the closers. He's had some late kick across town at Laurel, and he could do it again today if the pace is sufficient.
All right, so we like the same 4 horses in the opener. A nice wide open nickel going 6.5. Let's turn the page. Race 2 kicks off the early pick 4. We're going 6.5 furlongs once again, claiming 4,000, 3 and up. Haven't won a race in 6 months. Never won 4 is the condition. I go with the 7 on top. This horse, coming off a long layoff. Your 9-5 morning line favorite. I don't blame you for staying away completely. Accurat is coming off a long layoff. Hasn't run since October of 2017. I don't even know how long ago that was. I just know it was a long time ago. But he finds a nice, cozy, beaten 4,000 spot off the layoff. 7-year-olds made 200,000, so he has the back class to handle this group if he's ready to roll. Looks like he's been working well at Laurel Park for Maldonado. Comes into the race off a bullet half-mile work, a good 5-furlong workout from the gate before that. So if the works are right, looks like this 7-year-old should be ready to go off this long layoff.
With this drop down to the bottom and that long time away, took off the entire year of 2018. I'm going elsewhere, Stan. I'm going to go to the speed horse, I think. Number 2, I Came to Party, who's 1 for 1 at Timonium, went gate to wire at the Big T last year at about this level. Comes out of some tougher races at Charlestown, some quick races at Charlestown for their particular levels, and I think he's going to try to at least stalk if somebody wants to go, or just go on with it with Boca Chica.
I like him. Yeah, he'll get a nice trip with your leading rider aboard for Joan Reynolds. Boca Chica and Joan, they do well together at Charlestown. So I used the 2 in my exact. I didn't use the 3 here. One Proud Wildcat. You'll get a decent price. The Frocks, they've done it already this meet. Charlie A. Frock had the big long shot winner. When was that? Friday. With
Paisley Singing.
Paisley Singing with Wisman aboard. So here they're trying to do it again with the 3-1 Proud Wildcat.
I guess the positive is I Came to Party looks good on paper, but off since March. Your horse hasn't raced since 2017, but One Proud Wildcat is coming back fit as a fiddle after a race last week at Timonium behind the class-dropping 40 Acres, dueled in that race, and then finished second to 40 Acres, who went by them. It was a good effort, and it was only a week ago, so he's fit, and from that mile to 6.5, I think he'll be in the hunt in the last eighth.
All right, so the 3 is going to be a nice price. We both like the 4 in this race. Army Gray, Castrenze aboard for Annette Eubanks, this horse, and okay third last weekend here at Timonium.
Yeah, 0-for-2 at Timonium with a third-place finish at the Big T last week behind Elusive Hero and one of the horses he'll face again, Hurler. I took Hurler over him just like they ran last week. He beat him last week. I think he's going to beat him today. Army Gray's been a little bit even pace in his races at Laurel and at Pimlico, and for quite a while, actually.
All right, so some old school claiming races going 6.5 furlongs for the early daily double. Some old well-seasoned campaigners that have made a bunch of money in these first couple races. I go with the favorite on top here, but he's coming off a long layoff, so perhaps a suspect favorite here in race 2 to kick off the early pick 4. Let's turn the page. Race 3, we're going a half mile, claiming 5,003 and up. Haven't won a race in 6 months. Never won 4 is the condition. Right to the front here with the Bug Girl, Ty Liapustina, Higher Purpose. 113's the weight for this 3-year-old Son of Warriors Reward. Trained by Jose Corrales. Corrales and Liapustino, they won a race together yesterday, and this guy, a real good second to Phone My Posse again. Last weekend against Nichols starter, Phone My Posse again won like, what, 6-7 in a row.
6 in a row for Phone My Posse again. Ran second to him last week, and I mean, I could see him winning the race. His last 2 numbers, by the way, Phone My Posse again, Buyer speed figure-wise, 81-85. So that shows you the kind of horse he faced last week in that tough starter allowance field. This is a great classic Timonium nickel dash going 4 furlongs.
Yep.
I mean, this is the kind of race you expect to see at the Big T, and I think the race is between our 2 top picks here, Poplar Avenue and Higher Purpose.
All right, well, I almost picked Poplar Avenue on top. Now I see why I didn't. The 2 Higher Purpose, a big 11-pound weight swing there.
The reason I picked Poplar Avenue was I know Higher Purpose is fast, but I think Poplar Avenue is as fast or maybe faster early. That last race at Charlestown, he went 21-4 and 45-1. Several 4.5 dashes that night at CT. The next best quarter was a 22-1, and I think, if I can read my writing here, 46-second half mile. So he's pretty quick, and he's in good form. He's got the inside. He's got a send-him rider.
Yeah, you got a well-seasoned half-mile rider there with Almodovar. They have 51-2 for that 4.5 last out at the Berg. That's a pretty quick time.
But,
so, all right.
Yeah, I mean, on your pick, I mean, Phone My Posse again, 81-85 last 2 buyers. You see anybody in this field who's run 81-85 or so? No, not even close.
It's going to be a duel. You have the veteran rider with Almodovar. He's going to have speed on the rail, and then you have the Bug Girl getting 11 pounds right on the outside. It's going to be a heck of a horse race. I think these 2 are just going to be head-and-head and see who can go the farthest.
A jockey change on the 4, road guard post, Antonio Lopez, and he could be kind of a sleeper in this race a little bit if he runs to some of his back races. Maybe a stalker. I don't know if he's going to be as fast. So, he looks like the horse who really hasn't passed many in his recent form. I just threw him in on the bottom of the ticket. And you've got the 7 in there, too. That's Hurricane Bear. Here we go. Claimed for 16 December 9th. I loved him. Everybody loved him at Laurel, January 10th, off the claim into the hot barn at the time, Claudio Gonzalez. And, boy, was that a terrible race. He was 6 beat in 22 lengths.
Right.
He had a 6-horse field. Never really got hold of the track, never really showed a sign of life. And then he's been off since January.
And not many works. You have three furlong works listed here for this 5-year-old son to get Stormy coming off the layoff. I throw him in the mix, but I think the race is between the 1-2, 2-1. They're going to fight it out here in race 3, going a half mile. Let's speed along here. Race 4 is the first leg of the 20-cent Rainbow Pick 6. It's a mandatory payout, so If there's no 6 out of 6, it'll pay out 5 out of 6. So jump on in for the Rainbow Pick 6 starting race 4. One of our features of the day, a nice maiden special weight for 2-year-olds. Going a half mile, scratch to plane 1, Cold Sweat. So I end up on the 1A, my top pick here. I just like the breeding here. I know the 6 is going to be the heavy favorite, Dreaming of Love, a 2-year-old son of Imagining out of a Not for Love mare, has run 3 big races and a big second as the favorite last weekend here at Timonium, but got beat. And you have this 1A, Pardon the Pun, a 2-year-old colt by Flatter, who's a Major League $40,000 sire down there in Kentucky. And this horse been working okay at Laura Park. You get a good outside draw, 5 pounds off with the bug rider Kymar Trotman. Salzman, we know he's a good 2-year-old trainer, so I'll take a shot here with the 1A, Pardon the Pun.
Yeah, he does well with 2-year-olds, but first-time starters, very light side. So I went elsewhere, Stan. I went to number 6, Dreaming of Love. Rob Barn's been hot since the return of vacation in Florida. Sure. All of a sudden, the barn heating up, and this gelding faced a horse named Lebda in debut back at Laurel in the springtime. Another horse named Quad 8's. Lebda came back to win, romped at Delaware Park. Next start August 22nd with a 77 buyer figure. And when I mean romped, I mean by 11 lengths. Of course, that's good news. The bad news is it was a 3-horse field. Sure. but it's still an excellent buyer number for Lebda, who's in good form right now and actually had run a whopping 82 buyer figure in his debut, did Lebda. So that race points you right to him. And then they added the blinkers. He was second to Sky Scanner. I think ran at Monmouth yesterday. I was watching here in the Grandstand Grill with Brandon McFarland and his crew. I'm not sure that horse did much yesterday. But anyway, that last race last week, he's meant to beat him as a beaten favorite, 3-5. But Rob Barn is back. Let's go Dreaming of Love, the X-Man.
All right, yeah. John Salzman Jr. has that nice Imagining colt that won on the dirt after it ran well won on the turf. It ran well on the dirt, then it won on the turf, and there's been a couple other Imagining.
You're thinking, thinking maybe a turf sire, but he's turning into,
right.
both way sire there.
All right, so Dreaming of Love, the 6, is going to be your heavy favorite, going to be tough to beat. I try to beat him with the first-time starter. The 4 Ain't Wasting Time, I don't use. You have in your exacta here, huh?
Yeah, second out for Ain't Wasting Time.
Right. Second out here for the 4 Ain't Wasting Time. I didn't use him either.
Oh, yeah. Well, he was part of an entry, Stan, at Parks in the debut run, and really the winner of that race, still alive, did all the 4 to 5 work for the betting public there because he was very impressive. Ain't Wasting Time was the other part of the entry. He chased. Kind of flattened out in the stretch, was on his left lead the entire way, but at least he's come back with a work at Parks, so maybe needed that race. And that was a quick race, won by his entry mate. So he's uncoupled today, obviously, still alive, going somewhere else after breaking the maiden, but he's still a maiden coming in here. Interesting horse.
Right.
Ain't Wasting Time, and he's going to be a much better price than Dreaming of Love.
I didn't use him. I used a 3 DC Fireman, a first-time starter for trainer Claudio Gonzalez, a homebred here for William Bain, a 2-year-old colt by Frisian Fire out of a Medaglia d'Oro mare. Not many works to go by, but a couple decent 5-furlong workouts, both from the gate. So you have 2 recent gate drills going 5 furlongs. So he should be ready to go a half mile here at the Big T. You get Kevin Gomez to ride. He's won here for Claudio this meet at Timonium. So the 3 DC Fireman could be live here. It's going to have to break sharp from the inside, though.
Out of that Medaglia d'Oro mare, In Dad's Wallet, who is a 7-time winner of $80,000. And you mentioned that 5-furlong work. It was the only gate work of the morning, so it was tough to gauge. But a tip of the hat to my friend Coast Guard Mike, who always plays from Virginia, big player, and he's a big fan of 5-furlong works and multiple 5-furlong works leading up to any horse.
Okay.
Some kind of big statistical study that he did on his, Mega Hal 9000 computer and whatever. But that's a couple of good pointers there, at least from the workout standpoint.
Yeah, you need some solid 5-furlong workouts, and this guy has 2 of them, and they're recent, and they're both from the gate. So we both like the 3. Let's speed along here. You like the late pick 5 here. Let's get right to the late pick 5. It's a mandatory payout on everything today. The pick 6, the late pick 5, the rolling super high 5, industry low 12% takeout. Dave, here's your ticket.
Am I making a mistake here in the opener? Maybe. Scratch the 3 unequivocal. Vineyard is probably going to go to the lead in here, but it's a mile race, and I'm taking a little stand maybe against him with a 1-2-5. I love the 2 in the 5th race. Nick Papagiorgio, we'll get to that in a moment. The 6th race, it went too deep with Mice and Men, and Great Herman looking for a return to good form. The 7th race, singling a filly that was very talented last year here at the Big T on the comeback, Twirling Owen. In the 8th race, using Punk Rock Princess and Todd Pletcher. You did, yes, Todd Pletcher, horse at Timonium. You think he's down here today, or he's up Saratoga?
He'd have more fun down here, right?
I think
get a milkshake.
Yeah, you can't find funnel cakes for a reasonable price at the Spa, can you?
Right.
And the 9th race, using, well, spreading there, 2, 3, 6, 7. So singling the 4 and the 7th, and praying to get past this first leg in the Big 5.
All right, let's take a look, see if you're going to be live here in race 5. We're going a flat mile, nice 25,000 starter allowance, 3 and up. Never won 3 is the condition. I go all Claudio here on my early pick 5 in my picks. I have Claudio. He trains the 5 and the 6. I have the 6 on top. Storm in Hong Kong, a win in 2 seconds from 5 starts going a mile. Big effort, last out, going 6.5 at Charlestown. A beaten favorite against Allowance Company, but a good second, a good third the time before that at Laurel at this level behind a couple of decent runners. So I'll take a shot here. I think this horse will get a nice trip with Kevin Gomez on the outside. The last couple times he went a mile at Laurel earlier this year back in March. A couple big efforts, a good second against Open, 32,000 claimers going a mile back on March 3rd. That was against straight 3-year-olds, and then a good allowance effort after that against straight 3-year-olds. So he's running against older horses now, and he's done it the past 2 times, and he's run well the past 2 times against older horses. And I think Claudio finds a nice spot for him today. He'll be forwardly placed on the stretch out today.
Yeah, there's something in common here with Storm in Hong Kong and with Vineyard. Vineyard's got early speed. He might go to the front, but I think Storm in Hong Kong might have to engage him a little bit in the race if he wants to. At some point, he's got to. Storm in Hong Kong, this race is a mile here at the Big T, and so that's 3 turns. And these horses really haven't been that far. I'm going to go with a horse who's got a little bit of 2-turn experience in the past and 3-turn experience here at the Big T. That would be Nick Papagiorgio. Hugh McMahon off the claim. First off the claim, you think of Hugh McMahon as maybe a good trainer winning sprinting, but not true. An amazing stat found from Daily Racing Form Formulator this morning. First after the claim at 1 mile or greater in the last year, the last 2 years, the last 3 years, whichever stat you want to use, positive return on investment all 3 years. And the last year, he's 6 out of 19 in the winner's circle. I mean, that's pretty strong, and I'm hoping for solid pace and hoping they've got this horse right. A little confidence raise there to 25 after the 16 claim.
Well, you see the old school 1 mile workout, August 27th at Pimlico, 1 mile. They went 147, so that's a solid 1 mile drill to put some air in them, get them ready for this race coming off the little brief summertime freshening.
So anyway, that's my angle there, and is the first off the claim.
All right, so I use them. How about the one? I didn't use the one, though. Bandito, Marco Salazar had a nice win with earlier this weekend. He had a nice win here at the Big T with his main jock, Antonio Lopez. Yeah,
he was 3rd behind a horse named Marco Island last time on the dirt. Just 2 back on your form. That horse came back to win next start with a good buyer, an improved buyer number, August 9th at Laurel. And he's the horse that beat La, your top horse. So, yeah, I can see him. He's a versatile kind of horse. And, you know, he's the kind of horse who's going to mind a distance of ground.
All right, so in my early pick 5, I only have the 5-6 here in this race. You have the 1-2-5 on your late pick 5 to kick it off, right?
Right.
All right, so we'll have to root on the 5 together here. Come on, Toledo and Claudio with the 5, lie. We'll root on that horse to kick off the late pick 5. Let's turn the page. Another nice 25,000 starter allowance for you in race 6 for 3-year-olds and upward. Never won 2, going 6.5 furlongs. We kick off the late pick 4 in race 6. Nice card today to wrap up the big team meet. Some nice starter allowance races, and we like the same 4 horses here. Talk about your pick. Great Herman's going to get a dream trip on the outside with the X-Man. You have him on top. I pick him third.
Stan, I know you remember that maiden score at Laurel back March 23rd. He opened the lead in good, solid fractions. Looked like he was going to win by maybe 5 or 6. And he got to kind of like, I don't know, maybe looking for other horses or loafing around a little bit. The margin dwindled to a length and a quarter, still solid score. Next start, going 5.5 shorter. He had to work. He showed speed. It cleared on that lead that day, and again stopped going 5.5. Then at Pimlico, a real solid third to Hall Pass in restricted allowance company there for Maryland-bred types. Then they tried the turf, back to the dirt again. Speed going 5.5. Last race in the start of NASCAR, a little bit above his head there with Where Paradise Lay. And there you see the horse that beat him before, Hall Pass, who ran third in that race. But here at the Big T, where speed can sometimes be king, I think this is the play. Great Herman speed play today.
All right, you just hope he's recovered and regrouped and found his best stride once again after he got beat up pretty good in the start of NASCAR. If he's on his A game, he'll be tough to beat. We'll see. I pick him third. I go with the 2 sharp recent maiden winners. The 4 Mice and Men, my top pick. A sharp maiden score, maiden 25 at Laurel, August 2nd for Dale Capuano. Good 70 buyer speed figure. Christian Geraldo, who has 3 wins here at the Big T. Geraldo rides today. And the other recent sharp winner, the 5 Mahdi, won by 9 1/4 against maiden special weight, going 7 furlongs at Charlestown last out. Decent buyer speed figure. Got a 75 buyer going mile 16th at Churchill back in late May. You get 5 pounds off with Trotman. So I like 4-5 on top here in race 6.
I'm using the speed angle on Great Herman, but it's not assured that he's going to get away absolutely clear with a horse like maybe Pool Boy Charlie in here, who's had some speed, and even maybe the improving Mice and Men coming to test at some point. Grand River's known to flash speed in the past, so I don't think he's immortal in this spot. I went for Mice and Men there as my second pick, who's an improving horse. Pool Boy Charlie, like your pick in that spot. No doubt he could win with a good trip. And Moti, again, second off the claim, improved a lot. For trainer Anthony Ferrier, and he may be just the stalker closer, or the closer rather, actually, that you need in this spot. That was a 7/8 race at Charlestown. A little bit different animal, I think, than the 6.5. It's at the Big T.
All right, so big scratch in this race is 7 Bucktooth, who is my top pick. The 7 Bucktooth is scratched.
He's running Friday at Laurel.
He's running for opening day Friday. September 6th at Laurel Park. All right, so I end up with the 4 Mice and Men on top. You go with the 6 Great Herman on top. Nice starter allowance there in race 6. Let's turn the page. Here's the feature. This the feature? No, we got a couple big features here to wrap things up. Races 7 and 8. 2 nice allowance races coming up here. Race 7 kicks off the final pick 3. We're going a half mile for 2-year-old fillies. First level allowance optional, claiming 50,000. And let's see, scratch the 2, Jen's the Boss, so a big scratch there. I end up on the 6, Tote Board, my top pick. The heavy favorite here is going to be the 4, Twirling Owens, 4-5 morning line. There's a lot of speed in this race. Now, Twirling Owen had a nice, impressive maiden special weight win at Laurel back in April. Okay, and then got beat up against Stakes Company at Churchill, got beat up last out in the Astoria, and then now it's had some time off and should be fresh and ready to go. A couple of recent bullet workouts. I just take a stand against the filly. She'll be a heavy favorite. There's a lot of speed in this race. I'm hoping veteran jockey Al Cortez can maybe have a nice stalking trip, sit second or third behind the early speed. Just get a good trip here on the 6 Tote Board. A 2-year-old filly by Big Brown. She ran big last out. I know it only made in 16,000, but she won by 3.5. She did it. She did it well. She got a 57 buyer. You were talking about this filly last week, and you noted that they bet her down to 9-1 in her debut up there at Belmont against maiden special weight. So there's something to be said for that. And she galloped last week, and so I just hope Cortez can give her a smart ride.
She better be.
And sit behind the
Yeah.
early speed.
She'd better be good because, a horse like Twirling Owen, who's very quick, it broke her maiden at Laurel, and then ran against rookie Salsa. Sixth in the Astoria, given time away, has been doing some flashy early morning moves. So I don't think Tote Board's going to get away with much of anything today. But if she wins, Stan, you're going to blow up that Tote Board. That's for sure. I got the call all ready for you.
Yep. Tote Board. All right, that's my long shot play of the day. But the 4 Twirling Owen, yeah, if she's on her A game, she'll be tough to beat. A West Virginia homebred for James Franklin Miller and Anthony Ferrier. If in 2 bullet workouts, you have Boca Chica, the leading rider. You have to think they're going to be aggressive, and they're going to want to go to the front. But you have the Cal Lynch filly has speed on the inside with the X-Man. The Linda Albert horse might be your closer in the race. Yeah, Naughty Thoughts is going to show speed on the outside. So you hope you don't see the 4 in a 3-way tussle early on, right?
Yeah. I think she's pretty quick. We'll see. I mean, the question mark horse to me is number 1, Giggling. Who did break her maiden at Timonium from a turf to dirt race. Second start, moved from the turf to the dirt. That was a muddy track last week at opening day at Timonium. And she was on the inside and did it handily. The inside wasn't really the best part of the track, but no one really challenged her that day. She's a half-sister to a horse named Shanghai Street, who had 4 wins out of 6 starts on the dirt. So this is could be a versatile kind of a filly in here who kind of won against the grain. Speaking of against the grain, Landing Zone closed that day and breaking the maiden to 25 at Laurel off the claim for Linda Albert. And that was a speed plus day, August 15th at Laurel. I had it. And this is the only horse really to kind of come from off the pace that day. But she's really stepping into some deeper water here. We'll see what she has.
Yep. All right, so nice feature here for 2-year-old fillies going a half-mile. Race 7, race 8, we have the 2-year-old boys. First level allowance, optional claiming $50,000. We're going 6.5 furlongs in race 8 to kick off the late daily double. Todd Pletcher and Rapoli stable. They show up at the Big T today with the 7. Analyze your risk, 3-1 morning line. This colt by overanalyze going to be tough. A nice maiden score last out. Late June at Belmont, maiden 75,000, was the heavy favorite that day in a small 3-horse field and won. So he'll be tough. He'll get a nice trip on the outside. I just go with the Tim Kreiser horse, the 2 Canal I use on top. I'm hoping this 2-year-old colt by Temple City can just get a nice inside trip. He galloped in debut going 4.5 at Penn National, maiden special weight. They bet him down to 5-2, and he just galloped in a big 9-horse field. He'll show speed stretching out to 6.5 today. Kreiser, he has good stats with everything. He's having a big year. He's 2 wins shy of 100 wins for the year. I don't know this rider, A.R. Quinones, but he's coming down here to ride a live one for Kreiser, so he must mean business. So I go with the 2 Canal on top here.
Yeah, Angel Quinones. He's ridden up at the pen for him. I went to analyze Risk Pletcher horse. We mentioned that horse Maven early. That's the horse that he ran against in debut, who ran a big, I think, 83, 85 buyer number there. Then ran 3rd at Monmouth, tried to break the maiden second start. Then finally, again in a small field at Belmont, got the job done. I'm just picking him kind of, but maybe look at number 4, Punk Rock Princess here, who was second behind the aforementioned Twirling Owen, who you see in the race prior at Laurel back spring of this year. Punk Rock Princess put it all together in second start, and then they took her up to Belmont, and she was 46-1 in the stake up there in the Astoria, but then rebounded after a few weeks away from the races on the turf of all places. A daughter of Bourbon Courage, who's having a good year as a Maryland sire.
Sure. You get 7 pounds off. Yeah, it's a nice lightweight assignment at 108. That's going to help this 2-year-old going 6.5 furlongs. For sure. So we like, all right, I used the 5 here. You don't use the 5. He's meant to be an impressive debut winner last weekend here at the Big T for Ferrier and Castrenzi. So he likes it here at Timonium. He's running back kind of quick, but I got a nice 61 buyer with that win last weekend.
Yeah, he's running back pretty quick against a Pletcher horse. Punk Rock Princess, a little bit more seasoned. couple of out-of-towners coming in. First-time Lasix on the one, Wicked T, who I thought ran a huge race at Laurel. First-time turf, first time going 2 turns. Very, very good effort there. Maybe turf is in the future for Wicked T, but if there's a little bit of pace up front, I think she's going to come running. She went wire to wire at Presque Isle on the synthetic in her debut run, but judging from her last race, she can close. She got loose pre-race that day, as you see in the short comment, for a little bit. And then she still ran third, a willing third, beating only 2 lengths on a turf course that was a little bit soft from rain. So a little more rattle under her feet today on this fast Big T dirt track.
All right, so we have 3 2-year-old races today. They're the features. We have a maiden special weight for 2-year-olds, race 4 to kick off the pick 6, races 7 and 8. It's hard to fill allowance races for 2-year-olds. They either go to stakes or don't run, and we have 2 allowance races for 2-year-olds today.
I think you'll hear a lot more from the horses in the 7th and the 8th as we go through the year.
All right, so some showcase of some top 2-year-olds, including one from the Todd Pletcher barn today here at the Big T. We have one more race to go here, but real quick, I'm getting some updates here from our Director of Racing Secretary Georgianne Hale for the leading categories as far as the points and everything. Jerry Robb, he's leading right now with earnings, and he's leading with 85 points, Jerry Robb is. Now, he can only win one category. Now, Farrier, he's leading with wins, okay, but Farrier has 80 points, so he's right behind Robb. And then you have McMahon with 73 points, Corrales with 61, Wayne Potts with 50, and Cal Lynch with 46. Jockeys are tied. Boca Chica and Castrenza, as you pointed out earlier, they're tied with 5 wins each.
All right, 5 apiece. Good competitive and nice program trainer bonuses here at the Big T, and a few of those trainers really responded, filling the entry box each and every day. Thank them. 9th race is the final, Stan. We've got to get rolling.
Here we go. Maiden 10, Filly Mare's going a half mile. I go to the outside. The 7's going to get a good trip here, perfectly in tune for Wayne Potts and Al Cortez. Second off the layoff, a useful 4th last out for Maiden 25 on the slop. Now second off the layoff, we drop to the Maiden 10. We get a fast track. We get a good outside post, and you get a good rider with Cortez. Going to be sending. He might be going for leading rider in the last race. My man, Al Cortez, he's live here on the 7, perfectly in tune.
And would he be happy about it? Will he salute? Maybe a salute? I think so. Perfectly in tune, 4th last week at Timonium on that off-track opening day. Was a step slow in the race, but was deep out on the best part of the track, so I tried to go against that horse today, although I guess he can win. Was Shack for Love, who ran behind the speedy Welpa at Laurel Park August 15th, a 12-to-1 shot, who kind of dazzled them wire to wire, and they were all taken by surprise by her. Dueled outside that winner today, so I think she's going to show speed here. Shack for Love, the Trombetta barn. Dixie's, or rather, Bodachita's kind of my blow-up horse here. I think I have that horse in the in that pick 5 team. Bodachita, number 6. Yeah.
Corrales and Almodovar.
Yeah.
All right.
I think this horse, kind of maybe perhaps just fit enough to close like yesterday, Frank Vesby's top pick in the opener.
Right.
Here she comes, way out on the outside of the track.
All right.
Yeah, I thought her races 2, 3, 4 back on the dirt were good enough, especially those last 3.
All right, that's it. We're out of time. Good luck. Hopefully you're live and all your will pays going into race 9. Remember, mandatory payout on the Rainbow Pick 6, the late Pick 5, and the Rolling Super High 5. Good luck to all the jockeys and trainers today. Some close races on the line, some cash money, some big cash money on the line here today at the Big T.
All righty. Thanks for all your support during the Big T meet here at the Maryland State Fair, and all of our sponsors for helping us out here at Timonium.
All right, good luck. We're 22 minutes out for race 1. Beautiful weather. Come on out. Good luck.
Good luck.